Hey Pat Condell. I find it interesting that you talk about freedom because so many religious people will claim that it is God or Jesus that keeps us free or that makes us free from what hell or the evils of the world and will make such ridiculous claims and that I think it's really sad that people seem to believe that somebody's religious beliefs or whether somebody believes in a god should be more important than how somebody treats others. I really think that's messed up. That I mean that it's so important where somebody would believe in something without evidence and that somehow should decide their fate in the afterlife. Even if there was an afterlife, I honestly think that hell is possibly the harshest punishment you can give anybody, and it's extremely stupid that all of eternity should be based on what? For some people, it could be based on 10 years, for some people, it could be based on 90 years, but or it could be somewhere in between. But it's ridiculous that all of eternity should be based on, even if you had 100 years to grow as a person, people are still ignorant at 100 years old, possibly because of childhood indoctrination and a lack of social, stability mentally, socially, etc. So obviously, this time on Earth isn't enough for us to really grow as people and to even define ourselves. So if that's really gonna be how our eternity is defined, and also by coming up to with the best logical conclusion, should that mean that we deserve hell? That's absolutely ridiculous. But on another subject, I really think the reason that people believe and buy into such ridiculous dogma is because of childhood indoctrination. I know because I used to be a Christian Scientist, and either they will poison child's minds with promises of things that don't actually work. And I can tell you, for one, Christian Science doesn't actually work, except on a level of things that it works on a level, but not on the level it claims to. And I could get into that in a whole other video, but it has nothing to do with a god, the reason that any of it would even possibly be close to working. But either they'll make outlandish claims about some sort of paradise or some sort of thing that will happen to us or some sort of thing that is actually possible when it isn't, giving us some sort of false hope or for people, if that's not good enough, they'll give them some sort of false fear, and this will be instilled in the child's mind, and of course the child's going to believe this, and so they live their whole lives believing this and being afraid of something that doesn't actually exist. And this is what leads people to living a religious life, is because they're afraid of this place called hell that doesn't even exist. They're just afraid of eternal damnation because it's such a terrible idea. And that's really the point. I really think that any intelligent person, any person, and I don't blame people because their minds have really been poisoned, but anybody whose mind isn't poisoned by religion should be able to see that hell is nothing more than an advertising campaign. That's right, hell is an advertising campaign. Because think about it. What they're basically saying is, buy my product, aka religious bullcrap. So buy my product or suffer for all eternity. People actually believe that. And that's a pretty good marketing scheme, isn't it? I mean, come on. You're talking about eternity. You're talking about the rest of time. I mean, it sounds good. The rest of eternity, sitting on a freaking cloud, having a perfect life. And I can get into how perfection is impossible. In fact, here's an interesting one. And this is from somebody who believes in God, by the way, that said this to me. But so I was talking to my girlfriend or something, and what she said to me was something about God, if he were all powerful, would be able to make a stone so heavy that even he himself can't lift it. But he should also be able to be powerful enough to lift it. So by simple logic, we can pretty much discount the idea of an all-powerful, omnipotent, omniscient God. And also, if we can simply look at some of the evidence, it's quite clear Plus, why should we believe in something without proof? There is no proof for God, and I will repeat that. There is no proof for God. It's really sad, if you ask me, that people just buy into it. And this is, and really, if some sort of sense of spirituality, you know what, that's fine. Some sort of deep thinking, we all need to find ourselves, and if we have to believe something slightly ridiculous or have to think about things and try to think outside the box, that's cool and all. But when we have these religious systems that are indoctrinating children, that's just plain sad. So, really, I think it's all fear. I think the biggest thing about religion is it depends on people's ignorance, and it also depends on people's lack of willingness to attempt to understand things by saying, you need to only look at this, you need to believe this, or else your eternity is at stake. This is really sad. It's sickening. It truly is sickening how how they get away with speaking all these lies and all this bull crap and instilling it in the hearts and minds of the children who are raised up in the fear of places and false hopes that don't even exist. Spike here. Peace out.